age, two villages that fought each other by concurrence, by competition, and once they came to frighten the others. And so it remained that these monsters that we call, I will tell you, are supposed to frighten people in white. So and it's for 3 hours, it's authorized. And all the shops closed, and shops and plastic, because it's a disaster, it's disgusting. And this is la lie de vin, what is left from le mou, I don't know what it is, something from the wine. It's disgusting, they peel it, they put disgusting thing. And so the game is to put a piece of fabric in paste, and you put it and then throw it to people, throw it to places. And they are volunteer, the white ones, it's a game, And so we had more or less made a deal with them that they would let us do it for 15 minutes. It's okay, we give you 15 minutes from 3 to 3:15. And then be careful about yourself. What they did, they cheated us. They changed the clock for 2 minutes. So we thought we would shoot something, and suddenly it was, for them, the time, for us not. And they attacked us terribly. They put, you can see, Patricia Mazri was a very good director. No, it was my assistant. They put her in the machine. And I received something like this. So somebody in the village had told us, if you are really in trouble, open that door and be saved, So we all ran to the place. And it took us 2 hours with a shower and water to. It's incredible, the story. And that they do it, it's a game. And the man I called paillasse, the way they are built, the heart and I don't know, on that fur, right? The goat fur and all that. It's a costume that they repeat for centuries. So I was interested because, well, it's fun to see, but it's also the ultimate way of being dirty. She starts from the ocean. She's okay, more or less, at the beginning. The more she goes, the more she gets dirt on her. And then her shoes, it was a very interesting work about the shoes getting more and more destroyed. At the end, it looks like middle age something. My daughter Rosalie was costume designer for film. We had 3 pairs of boots made because it was difficult sometimes to shoot in the right time. So we had the evolution of the shoes. We had them so we could indicate with the shoes also how much she was getting to destruction. And other things. It was very interesting to do because it was exactly what I loved, dealing with the structure of a film, telling a real story, and then trying to integrate the real sense of reality, the real sense of structure, but the real sense of matière, comment dire, la matière du
material world, yeah. Or
so that you would believe the story. I guess you believe the story.
Speaking of them believing, does anyone have a question? Yes?
I'd like you to comment on 2 films that I was thinking of. Or actually, it's a question. Is this the French Easy Rider?
Is this the French Easy Rider?
No. Well, I would say no, but there is always the idea of going away, going on the road, cutting all the slides and all that. I think it's very different. And their behavior is not at all the same. They go for something. And she goes for nowhere. She's a rebel without a cause. This is what's more about than these guys, trying to get advantage, experiences. She wants nothing.
I think this is one of the best French films I've ever seen. You mentioned your admiration for Nathalie Sarraute, but did any film directors serve as an influence on you when you were making this film?
I'll quickly, if
Yes.
you heard it, were any French film directors an inspiration for this film?
May I say no? I love some films. I have not been influenced very much by directors because I have not known film. I didn't see films when I was young. I know now, I meet these incredible students, sometimes they're 20, they have seen 100 films, and I meet another one, he has seen all my films. I said, how is that possible? I mean, we're so young. Because at my age, I'd seen nothing. So I didn't go to movies, they could not influence me. What influenced me is painting. I was very impressed by painters. Picasso was like my master of whatever he did. And Braque at the time, you know, Braque, Magritte, Delvaux, all these people, they fed me, they fed my understanding of viewing and all that. And literature, I was reading a lot. But films, I didn't know about it. When I started to do my first film that I showed yesterday, I had seen, at 26 years old, I had seen maybe 10 films, not even 10. And then I started to see films. So at that time, when I did this one, I was much later. I would say my influences were not coming from films, even though I started to discover beautiful filmmakers that could have become masters. But you know, if I say Bresson was a master, but I cannot really get, because his sense of sin, of redemption, of Catholic Jesuit background, I don't like that. But his way of scene writing is a pure marvel. For me, Pickpocket is an incredible, beautiful film. Beautiful, totally beautiful. So some director in some film became lights, I would say, in my memory. But I wouldn't say, but did you see or did you feel an influence?
Well, I guess it did remind me a little bit of Sundays in Seville, same sense of loneliness of the main character. So that was the film that came to my mind.
He's saying it reminded him of Sundays in Seville?
Sundays and Seville.
Oh, Sundays and Seville.
Right. Because of the loneliness of the main characters, both of those films.
Sorry, I don't know that film. Sorry.
Yeah. The girl in the movie, the girl couple times to try to avoid the police officer. You try to show like in her past, maybe some criminal record, therefore she's not innocent, so we see no profit.
That's very interesting.
Should I just tell you, she showed several times the main character avoiding the police, and did she mean to suggest that she had a criminal past or not?
It shouldn't be that heavy, but I remember thinking, my subject is not how it happened to Cheese on the road, because I started to make a list, you know. She could be out of jail. She could be out of, I don't know, a young girl kind of shelter. She could have been kicked out of by her father, kicked out by a lover. She could have made something bad. She could have stolen something. And I decided I'm not interested. What I'm interested in, how she behaves. How can she stand the loneliness and that she has to sleep somewhere and eat somehow. But as you noticed perfectly, you know, when you are out of the way, you should avoid police. Because it's really, the minute you are not like everybody, maybe she doesn't have really papers, maybe somebody has been looking for her, and sometimes they report to the police. So systematically, she's avoiding police. But as you say, you can imagine that she had made something very bad. In a way, that was not my point, but it's a good question. And the little we learn is when she speaks with Madame Landier in the car, because she said that when she's alone, sometimes she repeats the English verb. And so, oh, you speak English? I say, well, I was secrétaire, you know, she has learned to type. And when she said, I just hated to have a little boss. The thing is that she doesn't want to be directed. She doesn't want to have even a young boss, even a boss, which means she started to work, you know, because she's 18, 19. She just started to get out of school and work. The first work she did, she hated it. But that's the only thing we learn about her, because we know nothing about if she had a family or not. And I kept it like not proposing any answer or any interpretation of what led her to be on the road.
Mm-hmm.
It's now and here, the thing.
Okay, one more question.
Yeah. Can you please talk about your how you got those performances from the actors, this professional, and how long it took you from the casting process? You know, the performances are great.
How did she get the performances? Were they all professional actors? How long did she work with them?
But the only professional is young Sandrine Bonnet, who had started her life with a beautiful film of Maurice Pialat called À nos amours. She was 2 or 3 years before. She was beautifully behaving in the film, so that made her think about her. And I didn't make any kind of casting. I wrote the thing for this for her. I called her, she came with her father because she was minor. That was it, so no casting. And for the Madame Lantier, I thought of Masha right away. So what is important, and her assistant was starting to make films, so to make theater. So all the other people were non-actors. And I really love them because I met them before, and I would go around, I would take my car, be alone, let the car try to go to farms, and they would send the dogs or send le jar, what is the jar? The husband of la varda. What do you eat on Thanksgiving? Oh, okay, what is the husband of the turkey?
What's the husband of a turkey?
The male. Anyway, they bite you very well. And so if they don't have a dog, they send that animal. So sometimes I run to my car, back to my car. But then I will speak to people, try to behave as if I was alone, looking for help or looking for a place to stay. So I investigate a lot the way people behave with people around on the road. They don't like foreigners. They don't like people on the road, men or women. And even women, they hate them more. So I investigated, and I chose the people who have been in the film, asking them to be part of it. I tell them about what and what, and we don't rehearse them that much. I try to put them in their own surrounding. Like the garagist is in his own garage, and he knows his tool. He knows where the drawer is, you know. He knows when he looks for something, and he has his own costume. So I wouldn't take these people, take them in the studio and say, okay, now behave like a peasant, you know. So because like the Masons, they were in a really constructing a house. And so by speaking with them, trying to make a back and forth understanding, I think they're wonderful, and I like really to work with people, non-actors, because they bring something so ingénu, innocent in the way of reacting. And in a way, they don't seem to be disturbed that we ask and we are filming them. They enter the game very easily. And then that's it, and the day after they go back to their own work. So it was a pleasure to mix people, and plus they have beautiful faces, they behave very well, and it helps the film to be believable, I guess. Again, that's the, you know, I always say I'm trying to put down the border between documentary and fiction. The difference is the fiction is written, and the documentary, I'm on the service of the subject. But still, there are a lot of